I, I dearly hope everybody was enjoying the beautiful firelight while I was speaking while muted. Welcome everybody. I have a few thoughts I want to, just a couple of thoughts I want to share. I'd actually put up a post this morning on the same topic, and this video is kind of a companion piece to that for people who um, uh, think my posts are a little too long, or think that they would maybe go better spoken aloud with a nice fireplace scene going. So I think most people who would tune in to watch this video would have two properties. One, they would already know what I'm talking about, what the recent events are that I'm going to barely, scantily mention. And I also suspect that most people who listen to this are going to say, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So please don't think that me saying this is I'm coming to you with some sort of profound wisdom that your heads are just going to snap around and go, wow, I never thought of it that way. Because I think we've all been thinking of it this way. The reason why I see fit to put up that post and to make this is because I've been reflecting on repeated experience. I mentioned this in Hannah's Hangout yesterday. This isn't just repeated experience in dealing with the couple of individuals who've sort of, gone on full meltdown lately, but repeated experience with this loop. Remember, I've been here since the beginning, and I've seen this happen countless times with other radical religious apologists, right? There seems to be this pattern where they first approach YouTube and the conversation that takes place on YouTube. They approach it with this attitude that I'm here to get a message out. I'm here to preach the gospel. I'm here to win hearts. And it very quickly turns ugly. And then there gets to be this breaking point. And it's a point of no return. There are some people who just abandon reason and abandon conversation and prefer to just go on talking to themselves. So just a couple of thoughts I wanted to share along those lines. Again, I'm capturing only a few more details than what's mentioned in my post from this morning. I want to mention too that where I first started saying some of this stuff, it was in this hangout with Hannah. If you look at Hannah's latest video on her channel, which I should provide a link for, it's really good. I had joined the conversation, her hangout fairly early, and of course, so I'd missed the first couple of minutes where she had done this just by herself, got her thoughts out. It's worth. I just listened to it this morning, and it's actually what motivated me to do this. If you listen to Hannah's thoughts from the first minutes of this, I just thought she nailed it. Just absolutely excellent. There's one point that she said that I wanted to correct. Maybe I'll do a separate post about it because I forgot what it was right now. Just a minor difference of opinion or difference of wording. But I thought she had it absolutely excellent. It's a very good, watchable hangout. And of course, as you might expect, it ends with G-Man coming in at the end, demanding ahead of time that he got his 3 minutes with everybody else muted, and he just had a 3-minute meltdown and said a bunch of claims and just crap that was wrong, and then he just hung up and left. And that to me is what we're dealing with. That is, you got to watch the beginning of that hangout, watch how Hannah lays out her thoughts calmly, watch how other people participate in the conversation, and then G-Man says, hey, can I come in? And these are my demands. And we went, oh, okay, yeah, sure, come on in, let's hear what you're thinking. And then he just explodes, and then he storms out, right? Mouth open, ears closed. That's what we're dealing with. So sorry, I just need to find something else here. Boy, I hope I don't get DMCA'd for using this person's video. I really like it. How many views it's up to now? I should check and see how many views. Where is my little note I made for myself here? It's the other danger of doing this live. All right. So the recent events, which I don't really want to get into too much because anybody who's watching this is going to know what happened. DNA in water, we've been talking about that for however long. There's just no talking sense. There's no education left to be done on the DNA in water thing. We've known this probably a year ago. Like I said, this has been going on for about a year and a half, and at least a year ago, people were saying there's just Ronnie's not a real listener. He's not a learner, right? He's not here to preach the gospel. He's not here to win hearts or minds. He's here to sell the message that Ronnie's a smart person and we should listen to him. And so he's not going to listen. So the more recent events is, Ronnie intentionally quote mined Lance, but so what? And then Ronnie violated this copyright principle by copying a video from Steve's channel and uploading it to his secondary channel, and then acting all surprised that, oh, gee, I might have to take a strike against that. Still no explanation from Ronnie why he put it up on his second channel. It's pretty obvious to people why he did it, but so what? And then, hilariously, Ronnie lied about atheists. He says atheists told him to copy the video onto his own channel, which is an obvious lie. He can't back that up in any way. I mean, there were people who said you should put up a longer clip or you should link to the original, and he doesn't say that. He doesn't say that this is what people told him to do. He says that atheists told him to copy the video to his own channel, and that's a lie. But so what? I mean, just in the context of all the things that have happened, is that really a big deal? It's just what happens. Being upset about him lying about something ridiculous like that is like shaking your fist at the sky for the rain, right? It's not going to change anything. And so then more recently, so Ronnie filed a DMCA claim against Steve as a retaliation. And Ronnie admits this. Ronnie has said expressly, this is why he's doing it, is to get back at Steve. And at this point, we're a little bit past the whole so what territory, because now we've got somebody taking malicious, vexatious actions in a way to take down someone else's channel. And we add to that Ronnie's general call to all of his quote unquote followers to take down channels run by Steve McRae and JD Kane and Red's Rhetoric, like all of a sudden these other channels that are run by people that Ronnie just doesn't like. Because he doesn't like what JD Kane has to say. He doesn't like JD Kane having freedom of speech. He doesn't like what Red's Rhetoric has to say. So Red's Rhetoric shouldn't have freedom of speech. So now he wants to launch into a DMCA war and a flagging war. And it's no longer a simple internet flame war. It's a scorched earth plan where you've now got, you know, Ronnie and G-Man who are saying, well, these channels have to come down. And this is not idle speculation on my part. Keep in mind that in one of G-Man's two solo hangouts last night, he actually made the point expressly. He said, you know, you guys are lucky I don't know how to do DMCAs. The only reason I don't do DMCAs is because I don't know how to do it. But if I learn how to do DMCAs, then those channels are going down. And again, he didn't say, gee, I wish I knew how to do DMCAs because then I could protect my intellectual property on YouTube. No hint of that. He says, if he learns how to do DMCAs, then he will enact his will on the rest of us, and that is he will take those channels down. Now, these are also people who will just whine and bitch about how, oh, you know, they're trying to silence the Christian message, and these guys are trying to take their channels. I think at one point G-Man was shouting, they're coming for your channels. Come on, Christians, they're coming for your channels. Nobody, not a person, has said, well, we really need to do something to stop these guys from preaching the gospel message. We need to stop these people from telling the world about Jesus Christ. We need to stop these big mouths on YouTube, right? That's not even a suggestion that should happen. It's Ronnie and it's G-Man who are saying these channels have to come down because of the interaction, this debate, and the sort of disputed, like, oh, who won the debate? And was the debate over models or was it over accounts? Like, okay, whatever. This problem that Ronnie's having with Steve McRae somehow means that Red's Rhetoric shouldn't be allowed to have a YouTube channel. That's the point we've gotten to. It's not a flame war. It's an intentional effort to destroy conversation. But guess what? This has happened before. It happened before that. It happened before that. And it happened before that. And guess what? It's going to happen again. It's not going to be with G-Man, with Ronnie. It's going to be another couple of yahoos. And this is just part of the pattern in dealing with radical religious people. So here are the thoughts I want to have. I want to sort of paint two pictures here. One of them has to do with the nature of games and of wars. And the other point I want to make is just the nature of crazy people. And when I do this, I don't mean to try to put forward the view that either Ronnie or G-Man are actually diagnosably mentally ill. I'm just saying, as we go forward and think about, well, what do we do now? What do we do now? We need to have a good analogy that helps us understand what they're like. Because when we say, well, we're going to do this or we're going to do that, it's always with this eye towards, well, we're going to fix this problem. We're going to make this better. We're going to avoid future problems. And you need to have a proper account of proper understanding of what they're like in order to actually realistically think. You're trying to put yourself in their shoes. Well, don't put yourself in their shoes, put them in their shoes. Act like when you think about what you're going to say to Ronnie next or what you're going to say to G-Man next, don't think about how you're going to react if you were in their shoes. Think about how they're going to react when they're in their shoes. So on the nature of games and wars, there's an idea in games and in wars that there's a right side that should win in some sense, or at the very least, somebody's going to win. But let's think about this idea of a conversation. This online conversation has been going on for years, and there's just no such thing as winning in an online conversation. There's no last play touchdown. There's no 3-point basket after the buzzer, right? The conversation just keeps going on. And those people who want to stay in the conversation, stay in the conversation. And those people who want to leave and go do other things. And then every once in a while, we get some new people into the conversation. This would be a weird time to join a conversation because it's a little bit heated. But if we think we can, teach Ronnie anything or teach G-Men anything, teach them a lesson or teach them science or teach them to discover the value of just being honest or charitable in conversation, teach them anything for morality, then our thinking's misguided. This is a very common sense thing we do. We often think about, well, if I just talk to them like they're a sensible person, then eventually it'll seep in and they'll be a sensible person. That's not always the case. So it's gonna sound unkind, but again, I'm offering an account, something for you to think about. And maybe as I put it in the post, let me put it this way: when you think about your conversations with either Ronnie or G-Man, what's a good analogy? Is it like that of a parent and child, or of a teacher and a student, or a police officer and a person on the street who's about to be jaywalking? Or is it more like that relationship you have as a sane person when you're walking down the street and you see a mentally ill person shouting at traffic lights? And again, I'm going to say this because people are going to criticize this. I see, Phony Beatlemaniacs is already in the live chat. Just based on the title, he's expressing the concern that I'm going to say these guys are crazy people. I'm not saying these guys have a diagnosable mental illness. I'm saying reflect on your history in dealing with them, and reflect on your history in dealing with children who are still learning and make mistakes. Reflect on your knowledge of that relationship when police officers talk to people on the street. And then reflect on any occasion you've had in your life where you've bumped into a crazy person who's shouting at the traffic lights. And it just, I don't know, to me, it just seems like it should guide your thinking in sort of how to deal with it. So the next part of my post, I say we're beyond the point of no return. What happens next? I said, my honest view here is these two guys have passed the point of no return. They're not going to go away, and they won't turn around and come back to us and be sensible people. Yes, there was a time where we used to have good conversations with them. A question that gets asked quite often is, why are you still talking to these guys? Why do you still talk to Ronnie? Why do you still talk to G-Man? Well, the reason is they're part of the conversation. They have been for about 3 years. It was not at all unusual for, I think G-Man had come to the Magic Sandwich Show a couple of times, and it'd be like, okay, good, here's a guy who wants to talk about these things, and he's passionate about it. And he'd throw the doors open to his hangouts, and we could join his hangouts, so we could have a conversation with him. He would always strike us as a little bit nutty, but he presented himself as somebody who wanted to be in the conversation. And we're now kind of in that divorce stage where we now sort of realize, well, how is he different from the crazy person that just sets up their YouTube channel and just rails on about, the Illuminati or whatever else, and aren't willing to engage other people? So that's why we still talk to them, is because we have a history with them of having at least some conversation. But I've seen this so many times before where you sort of assume that because you've had some conversation with them, that means there is further conversation to be had. But I want to present a case in point here. If I find which window I'm sharing, I'm going to say it is, let's see, flames everywhere. So I just take a quick glance at the Nephilim Free channel here. This is a fellow, he's been here since the beginning, and he's one of the more passionate and prolific apologists. Again, he's like Ronnie, someone who doesn't preach the gospel. He's not here to win hearts or minds. He's here to speak out about how evil atheists are and about the big scientific conspiracy. But he's passionate about it. He's sincere about it. Again, his message also is Nephilim Free is a really smart guy, and people should honor how intelligent he is. If you ever want to put this to the test, when I make that claim, go ahead and suggest to Nephilim Free that he's mistaken about something. Go ahead and suggest to True Empiricism that he's mistaken about something. And you watch the emotional reaction. You listen to the clips that Hana had shared in her hangout last night of Ronnie just losing his mind. And you can see similar things in Neph's history. But look at this guy, Nephilim Free, subscribers, 7,276. That is down from well over 10,000. He used to have well over 10,000 subscribers. For context, Steve McRae, that's 10 times as many subscribers as you. The reason he doesn't have as many subscribers anymore is because YouTube did that great, there's been at least two purges that I know of, where people who aren't viewing the channel end up getting their subscriptions automatically dropped. Plus, Neph himself will ban users from commenting on his videos, which at the time meant you would also lose them off your subscribers. So there you go. However big you think Steve McRae is, this guy's got 10 times as many subscribers. Let's take a look at his videos. He's got how many videos? 700 and some videos on his channel. Here's a video that's 2 months old, 98 views. Here's a video 2 months old, 151 views. Here's when he actually, for 1 hour, he did some debating. He got up to almost 600 views in 4 months. Right. So this is somebody, I should have worked out the percentage ahead. Oh, here he mentions Aaron Ra. He gets 735 views for putting Aaron Ra's name in the title, but with no response from Aaron. Oh, here's another one, my recent discussion with Aaron Ra. 661 views. Challenging the keyboard here. Oh, that's only 11 seconds. That doesn't count. He's only got 90 views on that one, but you know what I mean? This is somebody who used to get thousands of views on his videos. And nobody listens to him anymore. But so then why does he still do it? And the reason is because he's talking to himself. Having trivial amount of views on his videos just doesn't stop him. And nothing will stop him. And here's the important point. Nobody tries to stop him. Neph sits there and he talks to himself, just as he always has. And he always will. If YouTube stays open for 10 more years, Neph will still talk to himself for 10 more years. And many of us used to enjoy watching Neph talk to himself, but even that's boring. So we've moved on. Now it's just Neph watching himself talk to himself. And I just, it's kind of a sad thing to say, but I think we're past that point of no return with G-Man and Ronnie. I think we sort of have this nostalgic memory of how we used to have good conversations with them. But in my experience, we've hit the point of no return, and we're well past it. And so my suggestion is this: we have this online community for discussion. We've gone for periods of time where we haven't, addressed G-Man's craziness or Ronnie's craziness or whatever. And then once in a while we kind of go back to them and say, oh, well, Ronnie wants to do a debate with Steve. Okay, Ronnie wants to come out from under his bed and do a debate with Steve. Well, it turned ugly. He had that debate and everything has been ugly ever since then. And the thing is, we have this community that have a bunch of people with different views on the God, no God question, people with different views on evolution and creation. We even have people with different views on the shape of the earth. And these people all want to come and have discussions and bring their views forward. And the vast majority of these people actually want to hear other people's views. So then let's do that, right? When Nephilim Free disappeared into obscurity, there was a True Empiricism. And when True Empiricism disappears into obscurity, there will be whoever is next. And that's fine. Now, keep in mind too, this is not me suggesting that there needs to be some sort of unwilling ejection. I'm not saying, well, let's throw these guys out of the discussion. No, they throw themselves out of discussion. Note that Nephilim Free some time ago, G-Man, True Empiricism, they've all announced that they want no part of this discussion. They don't join our hangouts. They repeatedly say they will never join our hangouts. They tell other people they should never join our hangouts. They want no part of it, right? They've just poo-pooed the whole idea of discussion and sharing of ideas, preferring instead to shout at the traffic lights, right? We've been having these echo chamber hangouts lately on both sides. There's our echo chamber hangouts because they lock the doors and don't let anybody in. They do things like what Antonio just did, where he goes, I'm calling out Steve McRae. And then Steve showed up in the live chat and said, okay, I'm here. When are you starting? And then he's just banned from the hangout. How is that calling somebody out? That is, as I used the term a couple of years ago, that is like shouting menacing words while you're hiding under your bed. And so they don't let us into their hangouts. We have ours. They don't want to join ours. So what are we trying to force here? Right? They're not going to join ours. We don't need them. So, you know what? Just oh, I just realized I wanted to go back to the fire thing. Why am I still screen sharing this? Find the right window. Go back to the fireplace. It's so soothing. I will check for comments here in the live feed shortly, but I think I'm gonna end it on about this point. So my suggestion is, let's go back to what we were doing a couple of months ago. Let's go back to what we were doing before Steve had put out this open debate challenge, and Ronnie had popped up from under the bed and said, "Oh yeah, I'll debate you." Right? People's reaction to Ronnie's debate is in a way, it's kind of reminiscent of the darkness that came into Jason Byrne's life after somebody finally took him up on a debate challenge. And you know, dealing with these guys in debate, when they see like that it doesn't go the way they fantasize about it, just leads to weeks of craziness. So can we just stop that? Can we go back to what we were doing a couple months ago, where we would occasionally look at the crazy person shouting at the traffic lights and kind of go, "Oh, did you hear Ronnie said something else about DNA and water again? Is he still on that? Yeah, well, what are you going to do?" And then let's go back and keep talking with the new people who want to participate in conversation. If, you know, Nephilim Free and G-Man and True Empiricism are all on that same path, and just Neph's a little further ahead on the path than they are. And maybe it's time to let those guys go and wander on down the path as they want to. So let me just take a quick peek here at the comments in the live feed. Oh, we're getting good praise. Thanks, Skylar, for the praise for the fireplace. I didn't make it myself. Again, I don't want to be DMC'd over this. Full credit to the what's it called? Lullaby Baby channel. Good stuff. I love having this thing hung up there. Let me just do a little pop-out chat. Again, people, I want to remind again, and I'll post the link around. Hannah's thoughts on this at the beginning of her thing yesterday were just great. Other people came in and had some good things to add, and then G-Man came in and just had a meltdown. Geez, I don't know if he for only 3 minutes. What does he charge for the 3 minutes? I'm hoping he waived his $100 fee for doing only 3 minutes. Well, you know what? There's just a surprising number of things in the live chat. I don't think I'm going to really address it, just because it feels so unfair. I just want to see if there's a really super good one that stands out. I'm surprised this many people showed up to just yeah, they're talking with each other. All right. Well, like I say, even let me end it on this point then. Even if you don't necessarily agree with my characterization or the model that I'm presenting, at least think about when we start deciding questions like, well, how are we going to respond to DMCAs? Should we be filing DMCAs? Should we be inviting so-and-so to a hangout? Well, I'm going to do this now. Well, if they're going to do this, then I'm going to do that. I want to encourage a little stop and think and go, to what end? Like, if you detect in yourself at all that you think your choice is going to be the thing that's going to teach True Empiricism a lesson, or teach G-Man a lesson, or is going to be the thing to help them come to understand something and be a better person, you might want to stop and think and say, is that your job in life? Or are you walking this earth to be the person that helps Ronnie or G-Man become better people? Because I would love to do so, but I'm not that guy. Anyway, thanks for watching. I imagine there'll be lots of comments on this, and just, let tomorrow be a better day. Thanks, folks.